You're at a law firm, you are an attorney, or you are an operational leader at that firm, and you can't pull your phone out, open up an application that shows you everything going on at that firm from a data and analytics standpoint. You're probably not headed in the right direction. Transitioning from a company like Google to a law firm has been very interesting. Certainly, the things that we do at a law firm are very different than the things that we do within a large technology company. The Morgan & Morgan business philosophy is the John Morgan business philosophy, which is grow or die. Hi, my name is Todd O'Hara. I'm the Chief Business Officer at Morgan & Morgan. I am not an attorney. Today I'm going to be speaking about how to use data and analytics to scale a law firm. I came to Morgan & Morgan from Google, and a recruiter reached out to me and said, we're looking for an operations leader to help grow a large services business. I was working within our professional services team. And so, of course, I responded and said, I'm extremely interested. They then let me know that it was a law firm, was the services firm. And I took a deep breath and said, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to add much value here. I don't know the first thing about law firms or law. And their response was, no, this is exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for new perspective. We're looking for perspective from a large business on how to scale. And after speaking with the leadership team, it was clear that the opportunity was incredible. So coming from a big technology company like Google, I'm often asked, what did you bring from Google to Morgan & Morgan? It can be very challenging to forecast fee projections for cases. Cases can take 1 month, they can take 2 years, 3 years. But we've taken a lot of learnings from larger technology companies on how to forecast revenue, how to assess values of cases, aggregate those values, and roll them up into monthly, quarterly, and annual projections. It's something that we take very seriously. Traditionally, in large law firms, it's a very flat organization from an attorney standpoint, whereas in a technology company, you might have layers of management. We recognized that there was an opportunity to implement a layer of management that would allow us to have better oversight on cases and better train our attorneys. For example, in a large territory, you might have 50 attorneys all reporting into a single managing partner, whereas what we've implemented over the last 6 months is a layer of management between that managing partner and the frontline level of attorneys. And now you might have 5 attorneys reporting to a manager, you might have 6 reporting into another manager, and those managers then reporting into the managing partner. It's allowed us to have better oversight into the cases. It's allowed us to better train our attorneys. It's allowed us to gather feedback on new attorneys and really make sure that our cases are progressing as quick as they can. They're going to learn how to manage their caseloads better. They're going to learn how to increase their average fee. They're going to learn how to decrease their time to resolution. And so we look for managers that are not just great attorneys, but they also have to be good people managers. They have to be good listeners. They have to be empathetic. Attorneys that are really, really strong at following the playbook. They have high average fee. They've got low time to resolution. And they also are great coaches. They're great mentors. And they have to be someone that our younger attorneys are really excited to go and work for. We're trying to 10x our business. There's no question about it. And so traditionally you might say, well, we need to 10x our number of attorneys. And in a services business, to grow a business, we do need to increase the number of attorneys. But what we're really trying to do is 5x the number of attorneys and 2x our efficiency per attorney. So if you look at growing the number of attorneys, we have to marry the business side to our talent acquisition team. How can we acquire 5x more attorneys unless our talent and acquisition team has the data to understand our growth in case counts, where the case counts are growing, which regions are they growing? The second area that we use data and analytics is to increase the efficiency of our attorneys. If we want to 2x the efficiency of our attorneys, we have to decrease the time to resolution. We have to cut that in half. How do we cut the time to resolution in half? We have to make sure that every case is on time, and we have to make sure that every checkpoint in every case is happening faster. Without the data, we won't really know how we're delivering on our growth. Client experience is one of the key drivers to the success of our firm. We use data and analytics ultimately to drive customer success. At the end of the day, our clients don't want to be clients of a personal injury law firm. They want their case settled for maximum value, and they want it settled quickly. And so to drive customer satisfaction, we need to increase the value of the case. We need to decrease the time to resolution. If we do those two things, we will have extremely high client satisfaction. We use data and analytics to do both of those. Now, there's one other element to customer experience, and that's making sure that we interact with those customers regularly. If they're not feeling like they're getting love from us, if they're not feeling like they're getting a regular touch point from us, then that customer satisfaction is going to go down. By logging that into a CRM tool and seeing the data and seeing a case progress and seeing a client touch points, we're able to reach out to attorneys and team members to make sure that every client has a regular touch point. And so if you want to become data-driven, you have to be accountable to yourself. You have to launch programs, you have to land those programs, you have to be able to cut bait on those programs. And so having structure and organization through meetings, through regular meetings, through KPIs, through even OKRs, you'll be much more successful in building data and analytics into your company's culture. It's not easy building a technology and data-driven culture within a law firm. Often attorneys can be set in their ways. They've been practicing law for many years. They've developed practices, roadmaps that are particular to them and have made them successful. So really the question is how do you implement change management for attorneys that have been successfully doing something the same way for a long time? It's challenging, but if you can use data to show attorneys that their average fee is going up, if you can use data to show them they can bank more cases over the course of the year, it's much easier to launch a program that they might not be excited about. So 3 data points that small law firms should be gathering: average fee and time to resolution, as well as cost per case acquisition. How would you use those? Well, any small law firm should be aggressively launching new programs to increase the average fee and obviously decrease time to resolution. And so the way you use those data points, you launch a program, you benchmark the average fee before the program, you benchmark time to resolution before the program, you launch the program, you implement, you iterate, you change, and then at a point in time later, you look at how is your average fee? Has it gone up? Has it gone down? You look at your time to resolution. Has it gone up or has it gone down? Then you would look at the program and say, is the program working? You kill the program and move on, or you reinvest in the program, you double down, and you keep growing on more programs. And so one of the key elements to launching a successful program within any firm is taking a snapshot of the KPIs of your firm before you launch the program and then measuring them after you launch the program. Too often we'll see a program launch, data will change, and in 3, 4, 5, 6 months, the leadership might come in and say, how is the program doing? And you'll say, I think it's doing well. But what you really want to be able to say is, we launched this program and our average fee was X. Today, 6 months later, the average fee is X plus 20%. That means you have a successful program. So using data to find problems within a law firm is critical. The first piece is you actually have to have the data. You have to have it captured. It has to be in a CRM tool. And then you have to be able to run some sort of graphing and analytics on top of the data. So, my advice to any small law firm is start capturing the data through a CRM tool right away, and then make sure that you're reporting on that data frequently. Every case is unique, but the components of every case are not unique. Every case you need to look for liability. Every case you need to look for coverage. Every case you need to look up past medicals. And so you can use data to track how long does it take you to get to the first check mark, the second check mark, the third check mark. And then you can see how are you performing over time? How are individuals in the firm performing over time? Use that data and analytics to fix problems. I've learned anecdotally from attorneys coming from other law firms that we are way more aggressive from a technology standpoint. We use data and analytics to drive our case values up. We use data and analytics to decrease our time to resolution, and that ultimately leads to increased customer satisfaction. So from what little I know about other law firms, what I've been told is that we do operate in many ways like a technology company from an operations perspective. We take chances, we take risks, we push the envelope, and we're trying to grow much faster than anyone else out there. Any law firm that wants to grow has to have a data-driven mindset. It's not easy to build a data-driven mindset within law firms that have a number of attorneys that might not understand or be in the data arena. And so you have to have a leadership team, you have to have an operations team that has a technology background, they're technology aggressive, and you have to have the support of the attorneys, certainly have to have the support of the attorneys to launch new programs. But using technology is really, it's a cultural element more than anything. And you have to have buy-in from the attorneys and from leadership to do that. It comes down to risk tolerance. Our attorneys at the firm tend to be more risk averse, whereas our business team tends to be more risk tolerant. And what that means is on the business side, we like to take chances. We like to launch new programs. We like to test. We're not afraid to fail, whereas attorneys don't quite have that luxury, right? They have to be a bit more conservative. And so the two together create a good partnership. For small law firms that are trying to become more data-driven, it's important that they treat their technology unit just like they might treat their finance unit, just like they might treat their marketing unit. Are you having weekly meetings talking about your roadmap and strategy for data and analytics? Are you having weekly meetings talking about technology? Are you setting KPIs for what you want to launch over the year? Do you have goals? What are those goals? What are the timelines for those goals? Do you have the right team and talent to actually land on those goals? Outside of data and analytics, just from a pure business management standpoint, I would tell smaller growing law firms to keep being aggressive. Keep testing, keep trying, launch programs, track the efficiency of those programs, see how those programs increase your average fee, they decrease your time to resolution, they increase customer experience. But I would keep a list of programs you want to launch at the beginning of the year, track them, keep your teams accountable, but always be launching new programs. It's back to John Morgan, grow or die. You can't grow unless you're launching new programs, unless you're testing new programs, and you have to be willing to fail at a small scale for these programs. You have to be willing to accept a level of operational risk. You've got to create a culture within your firm where when someone comes up with a great idea, you're not afraid to say, okay, we're going to launch it. And by the way, if it doesn't work, you better show up the next day with another great idea. We're going to launch that one again. If you have an attorney that has 20 processes, I would challenge a smaller law firm to try to get that down to 10 key processes. And then that allows that attorney to have more focus, and they can focus on those top 10 processes. You take the bottom 20 processes, and you might outsource those. You might build up a services team that is focused on each process. You might use a third-party software to deliver on those other outside non-key processes for you. So at Morgan & Morgan's size, we are all about growing, we are all about scale. It's actually very challenging to scale once you get to this size because you have to have repeatable processes, and to have repeatable processes, you have to have extreme focus within those processes. So the way that we focus on scalability is making sure that every case is handled with the same level of care, whether you're in a region in South Florida, whether you're in New York, whether you're in Boston. And we do that through training, we do that through documentation, and we do that through constant communication and oversight of our attorneys. So really, scalability is about repeatability, and repeatability is about focus. I would say the processes that most personal injury attorneys know about are the foundational elements of a case. Establishing liability, which means collecting a police report. Are you using APIs to call local police jurisdictions to pull those police reports? Are you able to use a third-party service to read that police report and establish liability for you? The second piece might be establishing liability. Are you using third-party services to establish liability? Do you have a team dedicated to just liability? And medical. So if you look at traditionally what an attorney might do, there's a long laundry list of actions. How do you get the attorneys focused on their highest value, which is really communicating with clients, it's negotiating, it's going to trial, take the other elements of the case and move those lower value actions to other teams. If we get that right, then we can take that program, we can take that practice, and we can move into a new market. We can launch in a new market. We can hire talented operations people in that market. We can hire talented attorneys, and then we can bring that playbook into that market. We can train everyone on the Morgan & Morgan playbook, and then we can use data and analytics to see how How are they achieving against our other markets? If it's working, then we can add more talent in the market. We can add more spending for advertising dollars. We can acquire more cases. Once we feel like we have it right, then we can go target another market, another 2 markets and 3 markets. And so we have an expansion playbook, and it really comes down to repeatability. It's about making sure that our clients know that they're getting the same level of care no matter which attorney they receive and no matter what market they're in. The headline-grabbing trends right now in legal tech are certainly AI, ChatGPT, automation. We see different companies launching new services almost weekly, and it's hard to see exactly where this will go, but there's a lot that we can use from AI and ML to increase the efficiency of our attorneys. Things that are typically routine can be automated. Things that might be considered complicated in the past, like writing a demand letter, you could use a certain level of automation to do that now. Even things like scanning medicals to look for recurring issues, injuries, you could use automation and AI to supplement your teams. I would say the last piece to this is just because the technology is there doesn't mean it's going to show up at your doorstep. If you're an operator or an attorney at a law firm, you should really be spending your nights and weekends looking through what's out there, discovering what are the companies, what are they doing, calling them, getting demos, and then implementing and testing. We rigorously test. We're extremely liberal on the way we go after our technology. If there's something out there, we call them, we try it, we implement it. If it doesn't work, we cut bait and we move on.